Hey everyone, Jay here at ebodyboarding.com headquarters. Let's talk about leash plug placement and which arm or wrist to wear your leash on. Pretty simple topic, but if you're new to bodyboarding, this one is a bit puzzling. A lot of people ask me questions about this very topic. So let's cover it really quickly and then we'll get into more detail on what this is all about. So first of all, which arm or wrist? And I say arm or wrist, arm meaning a bicep leash, wrist meaning a wrist leash. Which arm or wrist should you wear your leash on? Entirely personal preference. I will only say that most people will wear the leash on their dominant side. So for example, I'm right-handed. I wear my leash on my right arm. That is not set in stone. Again, personal preference, but that is a good place to start. And for that reason, most manufacturers that make entry-level style boards like this one with an EPS core, they will pre-install a leash plug, and that's a leash plug by the way, in the top center of the board. That way the rider can wear the leash on either side. Doesn't matter, they can swap it back and forth, super simple. And almost every entry-level board comes with that leash plug pre-installed. So you don't really have to choose. You can try both and see what feels best. Now, once you get into the better quality boards, these boards generally have a stringer inside the board, which looks like this. This is a very short version, of course, but the stringer is usually most of the length of the board and it's inserted into the core material of the board to keep the board from over flexing. So that's pretty much every board that isn't an EPS core board will have a stringer on the inside. Some of them will have 2 or even 3 stringers, but most high-end boards or mid-level boards will have at least 1 stringer. And if it does in fact have 1 stringer, of course that means you cannot put the leash plug in the center of the board because you will drill right into the stringer. We have a selector on every leash and leash plug on our site asking you if you'd like the leash installed top right, top left, top center, or not at all. So the leash plug has to go on the right or left side, either one. And how do you determine that? Well, if you're a prone rider, honestly, it does not matter. Let's say I want to wear the leash on the right-hand side, but have the leash plug on the left. That's great. It takes up some of the slack in the leash plug here, in the leash coil here, and does not get in the way when I ride. Or I could have it on the right-hand side. Also works great. Just a little more slack on the leash there, but both work just fine. Where leash plug installation becomes a little more critical is if you plan to ride in what's known as the drop knee stance or standing up on the board. Drop knee is sort of a half kneeling, half standing stance if you're not aware of what that's all about. And I am a drop kneer, so for that reason, I like my leash plug on the right side of the board because I'm what's called a regular foot. That means my left foot is forward with my swim fin. I'm stepping on the top left of the board. And if my leash plug is here, I'm going to step on that every time. It's going to get in my way. So as a regular footer, I'll always put it on the right side, about halfway between the center and the right edge of the board. Likewise, if you are a goofy footer, which means right foot forward, you're going to want the leash on the left-hand side so that, again, your swim fin doesn't step on the leash plug. Now, I, as a drop kneer, like my leash on my back arm. It gets out of my way when I'm drop kneeing. It doesn't hook over my knee or get in the way at all. Whereas if I chose to wear it on my front arm for drop knee, I'll show you what happens here. It tends to want to hook over my knee when I'm riding and kind of gets in the way a little bit. So I prefer to have my leash on my back arm, which as a regular footer is my right arm. Now, that's not to say having it on your front arm won't work for you. I've seen guys do it. It's absolutely up to you, but I would just sum this all up by saying, if you are a prone rider, which side you get the leash plug on doesn't matter. If you're a drop knee or stand-up rider, it does. So consider that when requesting a leash plug install. I've seen some really bizarre leash plug locations over the years. Back in the 80s, guys, including myself, used to get their leash installed on the back corner and wear a leg leash. That kind of went out of vogue for a long time, although there are still a few old schoolers that prefer that. I've seen leash plugs installed right under the chest. I don't know how people do that. You would literally lay right on it. I've also seen leash plugs in the top corners, which I don't recommend for a few reasons. Number one being literally it'd be right underneath your arm and get in the way. And also the closer it is to the nose of the board, the more chance you have of the plug ripping right through the foam and out of the nose of the board. So the most common place to get the leash plug installed is roughly 6 to 8 inches down from the nose. And again, just avoiding that stringer and making sure you're not too close to either edge of the board so that your arms don't lay on the leash plug. And if you stick to those parameters, you're gonna have a great setup. Hope that helped. I'll see you in the surf.